Hello and welcome to another new episode of Learning Simplified. In today's tutorial, we are going to learn about WordPress, and from now on, we are practically moving on to a new tutorial series discussing on WordPress website. So what is WordPress? WordPress is an open source content management system and a framework which is based on PHP and MySQL, and of course, it runs on an Apache server. To define its interaction with the users and various parts of the web, it requires PHP programming language and it uses MySQL in order to store data entries into the database. Now, what we need in order to create our own WordPress site, what are the basic things those we will be looking for? Definitely we will be requiring a server-side scripting code and a database system, of course, which will be storing data and listen to the scripting code to carry on the instructions. Now, a hosting server environment will be required to run all these applications. So what are these hosting server environment? Basically, we can install WordPress into our project in two ways. The first one is an internet web hosting service that may require some costing to purchase it, and of course those web hosting services, they must be supporting this WordPress installation, but there are many free web hosting services out there with this WordPress installation. Those can be used in this purpose for setting up the project initially and make experiments with it. So I think I would like to suggest you to go on for googling and find out those free web hosting providers, those support WordPress installation. And the second one is very unorthodox but very useful for the beginners to make experiments with WordPress, is to install WordPress into our localhost web server which supports Apache. Now in this purpose I use WAMP server. But why we will be requiring this kind of localhost or online web hosting service? So here's the picture in the last case that I have prepared for you. If we describe this picture, then I think that the scenario will be clear to you. Whenever an user makes a request, it first gets to DNS, and then after a thorough search via this World Wide Web, they at last find your web server, your domain name, your web server, and they sends the request into that particular server. We can see that along with this index.php, there could be a numerous number of files inside there, but as an instance I have placed here an index.php where we can see that this index.php page and along with another database over there, all the data required to run that particular website are stored into that particular database. First of all, via this index.php, all those required instructions, those commands, those are now carried out. Suppose that you have created an online examination basis where you need to find the aggregate, the total number that you have obtained, and in that purpose all of your gathered or achieved numbers, those are present into the database as a record. And whenever you are requesting for your own numbers, the aggregate numbers, those numbers are practically summed up inside this particular server, and after this number being summed up over there, this index.php along with that particular summed up number is now sent back to the DNS, and via this DNS it gains access into this user machine, and then only this user will be able to access particular number. This means that every sort of operations there, those are practically served into this server, inside this server, and then only the result is now traced back into this user machine for final display. So that is why we will be requiring a web server, and along with this web server, all we are now going to do, we are going to install this WordPress. That is practically a framework. If you now install WordPress into it, what is WordPress? WordPress is nothing but a framework that allows user to create multiple pages or multiple data or those sort of things, multiple pages and multiple posts inside it, to store any kind of data into it and to create tables in order to maintain all those complicated operations easy. And that is why WordPress has a larger demand across worldwide. So now in the next tutorial we will be discussing about how to install WordPress manually into our WAMP server, into our machine, and then we will be discussing about all those things those are needed to know about WordPress. So that's it for today's tutorial. Hope you guys have liked this tutorial. So subscribe us and stay tuned for more.